What's going on YouTube? It's your boy MOT, and in this video we'll be doing a review of the Elephone U Pro. So I got this phone for about $400 from GearBest website, and the specifications of this phone are amazing. So let's have a look at them. It features a Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 processor, which is about twice as fast as what they had in the Elephone S8. 128 GB of storage space, 6 GB RAM, a front 8 megapixel camera, a dual 13 megapixel rear cam. If you're planning to use this phone in the American subcontinent, just make sure that this phone will work on your network, because it does not have band 2 and band 4. If you're planning to use it in Europe, Asia, Africa, or Australia, then most of the time you'll be good, because most of the networks there are on band 1 and band 3. So this phone has 5.99 Full HD Plus AMOLED display, a battery of 3550 milliampere, and the Android is Android 8.0. And the phone has Type-C USB. So now we're done with the main specifications. Let's have a look at what the phone actually feels like. So one thing I really like about the Elephone U Pro as soon as I turn it on is its large, beautiful display screen. It's curved on the sides, and I am able to see it from any angle. Right now I have the brightness set at about 50%, but you can increase it further to 100%, and it's just really bright. Even if I reduce it, the screen is still readable, and you would not really have any issues with the screen as such. I would say the screen is on par with those $800, $900 phones that you see in the market. I do think that Elephone has tried to put a serious amount of effort in this phone, because the interface is really snappy. And if I try to open applications, they open really fast. A lot more faster than how it did on Elephone S8. I do think it's because of the Snapdragon 660 processor that they're using, and for $400 I think it's a really good deal. Moving on to the camera, this phone has a 13 megapixel camera, and while it's not the best camera, I think it's an improvement over the Elephone S8. If there is enough lighting, the camera does fine, but if you are using this phone in low light, I think it would perform really bad. Speed test. So I only have a 5 Mbps Wi-Fi connection, but I've not noticed any kind of issues with using Wi-Fi on this phone. It works perfectly fine. And as I said, I have a really slow connection, so now I did do a benchmark of the phone, and this phone scores 139,000 on AnTuTu. If some of you guys are interested in the score. So comparing the GPS on the Elephone U Pro against my Honor 8, it looks like even though the Elephone U Pro is able to get a few more satellites than the Honor 8, it still is a lot less accurate than the Honor 8. So let's try to see if the fingerprint scanner works fine, or as expected. and it looks like it did not recognize the first time, but the second time it worked. And as you can see, it worked for me most of the time. So with the fingerprint scanner, you're not gonna run into any kind of serious issues on the Elephone U Pro. So let's try to see how Google Assistant performs on the Elephone U Pro. Okay Google, what the weather would be like in Kansas City next week.
Here's the forecast for Kansas City.
Okay Google, can you wake me up at 8 a.m. today?
There, your alarm's set for 8 a.m.
And as you can see, the Google Assistant works perfectly fine on the Elephone U Pro. Now let's try to see how the speaker performs on the Elephone U Pro. And in my experience, the sound quality on the Elephone U Pro is good, and I would give it a rating of 4 out of 5. It's not as good as the iPhone or like one of those expensive phones in the market like Galaxy S9, S8. However, it's decent enough and will do the job for audiophiles. It is a lot better than the Elephone S8. So let's try to see how the battery life is performing on the Elephone U Pro. And as you can see, I've consumed about 23% and I'm able to get about 3 hours 20 minutes of screen time. So that means I should be able to get about 8 hours minimum on a full charge. Now this phone does support fast charging, and as you can see, it's charging at about 2500 milliampere right now. That means that you should be able to charge your phone from 0 to 100 in less than 2 hours. And that completes the review for the Elephone U Pro. If you guys are looking for a phone that is light, has a large screen, decent battery life, I think the Elephone U Pro at $400 will be the perfect fit for you guys. So one downside of the Elephone U Pro is that it has limited number of bands, meaning this phone will not work in America. The second issue with this phone is that you get limited support from Elephone. If you're gonna run into any kind of issue with this phone, you'll have to find the solution yourself and fix it yourself as well. Especially if you're outside China, I think you'll run into issues with returning the phone and the warranty and other stuff. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you find this review very useful. If you guys have any questions regarding the Elephone U Pro, please leave a comment and hit the like button.